Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy, Steven Moustaris, and we have finally made it, the first fight card of 2025. Now, if you ask me, it's probably not the greatest card to start off with, especially if we're looking at the UFC's product. But I know some of you freaks out there have Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Hebos as your number one fight of the year, and it's clearly reasons outside of fighting. But when we really look at 2025, I wanted to sit here today and look at some of the biggest fights that we possibly have for 2025, and realistic fights too. We don't want to be out here just making up some bullshit, but when we really look at it, with all the big returns we're having this year, there's that possibility of Jorge Masvidal being back, all the rumors. You know, if they can get the whole Leon Edwards fight finally, yes, it's probably 5 years too late, but that would be a pretty big fight for him. You know, Cowboy Cerrone's coming back. I'd rather him stay retired, but if they could have him fight somebody like Tony Ferguson or something for maybe Tony to get a win, you know, back on track, or even Cowboy to get a nice little win, I guess I'm not mad at it. You can never tell a fighter when to quit, even though we're kind of done with it already. And of course, in 2025, I wouldn't be shocked at all if we see a Nate Diaz return after what he's been doing, and with Masvidal coming back, we could maybe see some fun fights. But some of my favorite fights I'm personally looking forward to, some personal fights for these guys. You know, Conor McGregor versus a piss test this year. I mean, I got all my money on a piss test. Tony Ferguson versus death. I mean, for the 7th straight time, Tony Ferguson has fallen victim to death, and I think the 8th time might be the final one. But can Tony get back on the winning track this year? And my all-time favorite fight for this year, and the only way that we're ever going to see Jon Jones get beat, is Dana White versus Jon Jones' meat. Clearly, Dana White's going to be beating that thing all day. So when we actually look into these biggest fights of 2025, let's get straight into it. I wanted to start off with the number one biggest fight, and clearly this is all opinionated from me, so you guys tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. But the number one fight, all jokes aside, Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall. And for us fans that want that, it seems like we're probably going to get it from all the rumors that are swirling around if you keep up with it. Seems like it's probably going to be the fight of, the whole International Fight Week this year in July. So I'm geeked for this one, man. Clearly, outside of it just being Jon Jones, the GOAT, versus Tom Aspinall, this new up-and-coming killer that everybody loves, and he's been killing people within the first round, it's clearly there's reasons we want to watch this fight. But when we really look at it, man, I'm very scared for what's going to happen with the landscape of the heavyweight division after this. Because win or lose, Jon Jones is most likely either going to retire or he's going to probably relinquish the belt and only take big fights with Francis or something over in India. But when we look at it, it's going to be just Tom Aspinall left. And when we look at this heavyweight division, it sucks, man. Just flat out terrible. We don't have a single guy out there. We had the Sergey Pavlovich hype, the Cyril Gane hype. We had all these things. And now look at them. They're out here just looking terrible. And if they're not losing, they're getting victories from unanimous decisions that should have been a loss, like easily a loss. So when we look at the landscape of it, who's going to take out somebody like that? Jailton Almeida, Derek Lewis's 40-year-old ass, Tai Tuivasa, like, come on now. There is not many people out there. So when we look at this one, clearly this fight is going to be phenomenal. But when we really look at it, man, heavyweight's going to suck for a while. So I feel bad for Tom Aspinall, because you go out there and beat somebody like Jon Jones, there's nothing left for you after to really even fight, because you're going to start taking guys out that we're sitting here laughing at. Like, okay, you're going to take out Sergey Spivak? Like, okay, cool. So let's get into the second biggest fight. And again, there's so many fights you could go with. This, again, it's opinionative, but I think with what the UFC has done to promote this guy and what he's finally done to get to this point after about 4 years now, KHAMZAT Chimaev versus whoever for the belt at 185. I think a lot of people think Dricus is going to beat Sean Strickland. And I think if we're talking about biggest fight, I think Dricus versus KHAMZAT is probably the biggest fight, I would say, for at least KHAMZAT to first win the belt. I think he mauls Sean Strickland, but Dricus is on another world level right now. I mean, I don't know what it is. His fight with Israel Adesanya is a killer. His fight with Sean Strickland, his fight with Robert Whittaker, he's only getting better and he's only getting more confident. So I love that fight, but it's just KHAMZAT in general. KHAMZAT's going to win, and I'm super excited for it. And if we really look at the biggest fight, it's probably KHAMZAT versus Alex Pereira at the end of the year, if this man KHAMZAT can get by somebody like Dricus du Plessis. But again, I don't know if we can even add the KHAMZAT versus Pereira fight yet, because I just don't think it happens till 2026. We got Dricus versus Sean Strickland in February, and the last time these guys fought, it was a 5-round war. So we're looking at this guy's probably not even, whoever wins probably is not even fighting until July, August. And for those guys to turn back around by December, highly doubt it. But KHAMZAT's going to get the job done, and I'm super excited for it this year. I think 2025 is the year. And then we go into the third biggest fight, and this clearly just is going to happen or depend on what happens and what actually fights lay out. Because from what it sounds like with Alex Pereira, I don't know if he's even going to get the Magomed Ankalaev fight first this year from what he's tweeted and everything. So if he doesn't get the Ankalaev fight first, I don't think his fight's going to happen this year because he's going to have to beat Ankalaev first. But the winner of Aspinall Jones getting Alex Pereira is easily that fight for sure. But I think that's more of a 2026 fight if we're going to be real here, because we already know that Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall are going to fight in July, like I said, at the International Fight Week. So Alex Pereira getting somebody out there like Dominic Reyes or something in the first fight, I don't know if that gets it done. But if Ankalaev's his first fight here in like March and he gets that done, I could see him getting the winner of Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall in December. So, that fight's got to be up there. It is a possibility. And then fight 4, this one for me, I just don't see it happening, but it's very realistic, and that is Ilia Topuria versus this man Islam Makhachev for the 155 belt. And the reason I don't think this happens, and I think the next fight that I'm going to say, I think this is what happens. So the 5th fight, it would be Islam versus Shavkat at 170. Because if we really look at it, look what Islam has done. He already let Volkanovski have 2 chances at it. And yes, the first fight was close, and I thought Volk won. But the second fight, Islam knocked him out. And I don't care how short notice it was for Volk. Islam went out and did the damn thing. And then he took out somebody like Dustin Poirier, which we probably wrote off a little too early. And although, yes, it was a good fight, that was more of a, hey, let me give you, just a gift right now while Charles and, Arman go out there and fight. And then now I'm going to go out there and get a rematch with Arman and give him another shot. And if I beat him, why don't you guys do something for me now? So that's why I ultimately, because what's next? You're going to have another rematch with Charles Oliveira or something? Like, we don't need this, man. I think it's time for Islam to go get his 170 chance, but I can't deny at the same time, this man Ilia Topuria is an absolute killer. Any fight that he's going to be in this year, I'm going to be mad excited for. But when we talk about the top of the top fights, if he doesn't get the Islam fight, I don't even care about it, really. I don't he goes up and fights Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira or fights Volkanovski, Diego Lopez. Amazing fights. I'm all excited for him, but they're just not at the top echelon like an Islam fight is. And when we look at the 170 line, Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to get the job done, most likely, in my opinion. Even though after his fight with Ian Gary, I was definitely sitting there saying I think Bilal gets it done. But regardless, whoever wins between Bilal and Shavkat, if Islam Makhachev gets a chance to go up there and fight him, I just said Shavkat because I think it's a bigger fight, but regardless, he goes up and fights Bilal. Any champion versus champion's a massive fight. So Islam Makhachev's got tons of fights this year that he can look forward to. Although there's a plethora of fights between 170 and 185 between all these killers like Carlos Prates and JDM, Ian Gary, Shavkat, all the guys in 170 you can name. 185 with the Cal Borrelios. He's got the Nasruddin Memavovs coming up with Izzy. We got some big fights. But one of the bigger fights that I really think could happen, and if we're being honest here, I don't think many of us expect anything different, but just the amount of shit talk and the amount of, stuff that's been going around it, Jamahal Hill versus, Alex Pereira the second time around, that could be a lot of fun. If this man Jamahal Hill goes out there and knocks out Yuri Prochazka, I'm just telling you, Jamahal Hill's mouth might have got him another shot at Alex Pereira, and who wouldn't want to see him just completely redo what he's already done and just do that the entire time with one of the craziest knockouts ever. So you guys let me know about that one. And fight number 6 here. I don't really have an opponent, I guess, but when we look at Max Holloway, it's got to be, he's my guy. He's my favorite fighter outside of Jon Jones, so clearly I'm biased. I'm going to be on here, but the BMF title fight is going to be what we're excited for. His 155 return, he said he's going to be there permanently now. I'm excited for it. Is it Dustin Poirier's retirement match? That would be pretty exciting. Is it? Who knows who it's going to be? It's going to be some fun matchups regardless of how we look at it, and you never know what that fight is. We didn't see the Justin Gaethje fight coming out, and look what he did in that fight. So clearly I'm excited for Max. And then to kind of go with the dang thing, number 8, Dustin Poirier's retirement match. Is it going to be Max Holloway? Is it going to be Justin Gaethje? Could it be Nate Diaz? It's going to be a fun fight regardless. It's going to definitely be nostalgic. It's definitely going to be emotional seeing this guy. I've been watching him since he's been in the damn fucking UFC. So I'm excited for that. And then probably my biggest non-title fight of the year, probably, if I was looking at it, it has to be my biggest non-title fight. Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Cory Sandhagen. It sounds like Sugar's probably going to wait out for the Merab Umar winner. I get all that, but if they were going to be honest here and just give him somebody to fight on a main event, maybe a little fight night, Cory Sandhagen, Sugar Sean, the two snipers, the two killers, sign me up for that. I'm here for that all day. Sugar Sean, Cory Sandhagen, that is the fight of all fights at 135 for right now, especially when it comes to fan favorites. Two tall, lengthy guys, like I said, snipers, get the job done. You can't make a mistake with either guy. So that fight's got to be up there for me. And then just to throw it in there, because I know some of you women love watching this, and I don't want to sit here and hate on the women's MMA. But if there's one fight that could make it on here, it's the whole reason they signed Kayla Harrison. The return of Amanda Nunes this year against Kayla Harrison, that I think anytime. I know people don't like women's MMA. I get it. I see all the comments out there on it. But nobody can deny the fact that this girl, Amanda Nunes, fights like a dude. So you guys let me know what your list is. And as always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. Let's go, baby. Let's go.